to the MYS Virtual Hangout. Here's your host, MYS Music Director, Raul Gomez.
Hello. It is time for another MYS Virtual Hangout. It is May 7th. It's a Thursday, and I have not only one but two dear friends and wonderful artists as my guests today. Marilyn Oliveira and Trevor Fitzpatrick, both cellists with the Oregon Symphony, are going to be joining me very, very soon. Before we get to that, though, just a few quick announcements. Number one, this is just a reminder for all Metropolitan Youth Symphony students that registration is open for next season. So go ahead and get registered. Go to our website, click on the big button that says register, get it done, and you can send your auditions via video between June 1st and August 14th. If you're not familiar with MYS, here's a super quick overview. We have 14 ensembles. We have full orchestras, string orchestras, jazz. We have bands. We have percussion ensemble of all ages and all levels. It's a really wonderful community of music students and great conductors, and a really wonderful place to challenge yourself musically and to make friends. So get registered if you haven't done that yet. Also, we have a really exciting event happening tomorrow, Friday. And our good friend Ron Blessinger from the Oregon Symphony and from 45th Parallel has sent us a video invitation. So I'm going to play that for all of you right now.
Hey, MYS players, this is Ron Blessinger from 45th Parallel Universe, and I'm also a violinist of the Oregon Symphony, and I'm here to tell you that this Friday at 6 o'clock, my group is doing a really cool experiment with online technology. That's this Friday, 6 p.m. We're going to be live streaming on Facebook and YouTube a really cool performance of our group. We're calling ourselves the Portland Social Distance Ensemble. We're going to be playing In C by Terry Riley, and it's going to be live. And the thing that makes this cool is that we're all playing from our homes remotely. So that's requires some really innovative technology, and should be a really fun time. So hope you join us. Bye. Hey, MY.
It helps if I unmute my microphone. Thank you for letting me know on the comments. And actually, that's exactly what I was just saying. I was encouraging everybody to use the comments to ask your questions for Marilyn and Trevor. And before that, I was saying that what you heard from Ron Blessinger is really exciting. It's a really groundbreaking thing that they're doing, because they're managing to play a true live remote performance where all the different musicians are in their own spaces but playing truly live. This is something that we musicians all over the world have been trying to figure out how to do, and the closest we can come is to pre-record videos and then mix them together and then play that as a final product. But this performance tomorrow at 6 p.m. is going to be a true live performance. I cannot wait to check it out, and I hope that you will tune in too. Go to 45th Parallel's Facebook page to find a link to that performance. Okay, and with that, let's go ahead and bring Marilyn and Trevor onto the stream, and please feel free to participate and ask your questions as we go along. So let's get Skype going here. Here we go. Hey guys, can you see me and can you hear me? Awesome. I'm gonna put you up on the screen. Now it'll be just a moment to make sure that we can see you guys. You know, this used to happen automatically. I don't know why it changed, but there you are. Thank you for doing this.
Hi.
You're welcome.
Our pleasure. Thanks for inviting.
How's it going?
Give us a reason to shower.
How's it going, you guys? How's everything?
Oh, it's going good. The sun's out. The kids are not too crazy. We really, really miss making music with our friends. But other than that, there's been lots of actually really enjoyable things about this time.
Yeah, and
we get a lot of work done. We get a lot of work done on our instruments around the house. A lot of just sort of maintenance, basic maintenance stuff.
And you get to spend a lot of time with your two kids, I'm sure.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Caio and Isla, how old are they now?
Caillou's 19 months yesterday, so just a little over a year and a half, and Isla's going to be 6 in June.
Yes. And, last time I saw Caio in person, he was like this big, like he was in your arms like this, and I can't believe it, time just flies. And
Was that at Red Yarn? Was that when we met at Red Yarn? I can't remember when you met him.
Well, the last time we saw you, Trevor was not there, but Sarah and I took a little boy that Sarah used to nanny to like a story time event.
Yeah, it was Red Yarn. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Alma wasn't even born yet, I don't think.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
And now Alma's walking, right? You were saying like.
She's walking. It's crazy. She's, just this week she started, and there's no stopping her now.
I can't wait until she just comes like walking right back behind you, and then Sarah comes chasing her around like in one of these hangouts. I can't wait to see Alma just like.
you know it's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen. And I was going to say that, of course, we miss seeing you guys live on stage playing with the Oregon Symphony and with the many other projects that you guys are involved in. But I'm glad that I get to see both of you, even if it's through a screen right now.
Oh, it is nice. You've done an amazing job with these hangouts. It's really cool.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And look, I know you guys have seen the shows, and people watching, most of them have seen shows before. So I would like to dive right into our first set of Truths and Lie.
Okay.
You guys sent us, okay? Because we have two to get through, one for each one of you. So I would love to start with Trevor reading the statements about Marilyn. Or actually, if you don't have them in front of you, I can read them in your place.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I don't have them yet. I didn't know we were gonna, but I can bring them up real quick.
Yeah, okay. And in the meantime, I want to share with everybody that I've known Marilyn for a long time. Because Marilyn and I played together with what is now called the Orchestra of the Americas.
Oh, it's not called Youth Orchestra of the Americas anymore?
It is now just the Orchestra of the Americas, yes. But when we met and when we played with this group, it was called the Youth Orchestra of the Americas, and this is still an international orchestra with musicians from every single country in the American continent. They get together every summer and they travel to a different part of the world, play great music, do social work also in addition to concerts and rehearsals. And it was, for me, and I know for all of us who were involved in that, a life-changing experience.
For sure.
Trevor, I didn't meet you until I moved to Portland. But when did you two meet? Did you meet here?
We actually met at a music festival outside of Cleveland, the Kent Blossom Music Festival, and this was in 2001. I was still studying in Toronto, and Marilyn was in transition from Indiana. She was going to go down to Rice, and that was the summer thing that we were doing. I came down, she came up, and that's where we met initially.
We were stand partners.
And we were stand partners.
Whoa, cool.
And then we did lose somewhat lost touch for a couple of years, and then we re-met again at
New World Symphony.
New World Symphony. The few years in between, we would see each other at auditions, or we would all take the same auditions anyway, so we were on that circuit. So we would run into each other and hang out after we would fail miserably, and and then we parted ways again after New World Symphony. She went to San Antonio, and I came here. And then we were back and forth a little bit, and eventually, when Marilyn got her job here, then we were here together, which is really nice. But that's the short version of a long saga.
That's the short version.
Sure. But that's so rare. To have a job in the same orchestra with your spouse. It's a really wonderful thing. So Trevor, when did you get the job here?
2005.
Okay. And Marilyn?
2009.
Okay. And so it's been 11 years or so that you have both been here.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I can't even imagine to just suddenly have to be away from your friends and colleagues in such an abrupt way. I was talking with Carolyn Shaw yesterday, and it was the week that she was here, and you guys were doing a Symphonia that everything sort of shut down. And it feels like it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
It does. And again, I can't stress how much we really, really miss playing with our friends and hearing our incredible colleagues. Every time I'm at work, I'm so inspired by everything that's going on around me. So I really, really miss that. But one thing that's really special about the Organ Symphony is that we have family there. They're like our family. And so we haven't lost touch with them. We have a lot of virtual hangouts and it's social distancing. I feel like is not the appropriate word. It's just physical distancing. I mean, we're still connected.
Yeah, and we're, I think, lucky that we can at least be in touch in that way. I think you gave Trevor the statements. So
yes.
If those are ready, let's go ahead, Trevor. Let's have you read statements about Marilyn, and let's start with statement A.
Marilyn has performed a lead role in an opera.
Okay, that's up on the screen, and let's hear statement B.
Okay, Marilyn owns over 50 pairs of shoes.
Okay, and statement C.
And Marilyn was engaged 3 times.
Okay, so those are up on the screen. So if you're watching, I would like to invite you to vote in the comments for which of these statements you believe is a lie. 2 of them are true, and I actually don't know which one is the lie, so I'll be playing along as well. And so Marilyn, let's go back in time and let's learn about your beginnings in music and when you were at the age that most MYS students are, most of them are middle school, high school. What were you up to?
I had kind of an interesting journey because I started cello when my dad was going to school at Indiana University. So I started out in a terrific program, which was the Suzuki Strings there. That was when I was little. And then when we moved back to Brazil, I was around 9. And from the time I was 9 to 15, was a little turbulent with my cello. There wasn't really a cello teacher in Porto Alegre in Rio Grande do Sul where I lived. And there was no youth orchestra. So I'm so appreciative of all the opportunities that the MYS kids and my students and young musicians have here in Portland, because it's something that I didn't get to do when I was your age. But then when I was when I was 15, I moved to São Paulo. And there in São Paulo, I got to play in a really awesome youth orchestra. It was actually, back then, it was paid. It was a paid youth orchestra. I mean, it was something symbolic, but for a 15-year-old getting paid to play your instrument was pretty cool. Because they had to help people get there, and like I would travel there by bus. It was about an hour and a half for me to get to rehearsal, and then another hour for me to get home to my dorm. Yeah, and anyways, and then I had a great teacher named Zygmunt Kubala in São Paulo. And after that, when I was just under 17, I moved to the United States, and then kind of got 6 months of intense private lessons with Emilio Colon, and then went to IU.
And Trevor, how about you? How were your beginnings?
Yeah, I was really lucky to grow up in a musical family. My dad is a clarinet player, and my mom plays the double bass. And they both played in the Symphony up in Saskatchewan, Canada, where I grew up. And in the city where I grew up had a really great conservatory system.
Awesome.
with little orchestras that start off from 5 years old. You start off in orchestra and you move your way up through the orchestral ranks into the youth orchestra. And it was such a great music community there. The musicians, the professionals in town were amazing. I was fortunate enough to have a great cello teacher who was from the same city, and he studied with Leonard Rose. His brother was the concertmaster of the Boston Symphony. They all come from this little town in Saskatchewan, and we're
Called Regina.
I was just really blessed to grow up in that environment, and with the cello scene there. There was a lot of great cellists that we could hang out with and feed off of, and hang out late at night, and just kind of nerd out.
Yeah.
And that was another thing we did, and my friends and I, we just had a fun time, and the youth orchestra was a big part of that. Traveled all over the place.
Do you stay in touch with any of those youth orchestra friends, Trevor?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those are lifelong friends. Even if you lose touch a little bit, you run into them every once in a while, or you see them on Facebook or something like that, and we're still pretty close.
His conductor is Uncle Al.
Oh, nice. That's very sweet.
Like when I met Uncle Al, I was like, what, he's your youth orchestra conductor? I didn't really.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about youth orchestra too. To this day, some of my closest friends are friends from my own youth orchestra in Costa Rica growing up, and also from the Orchestra of the Americas. And it's so cool, like you're saying, Trevor, to fast forward however many years now, and we're all all over the place in different similar stages in our careers. And if you're an MYS student, you're watching this, it's likely that you will continue to be friends with your youth orchestra colleagues for your entire lives, and those bonds are really special. And the fact that you're sharing music together somehow makes those bonds even more special. We have a few votes in the comments about Marilyn's truths and lies. One of them is Ryan Babe, Marilyn.
Oh, Ryan.
He studies with you. So if you have not voted, you have a few more seconds. One of these three statements on the screen is a lie. So in the comments, please vote for which one of them you believe is a lie. And while we give people a few more seconds to do that, Marilyn, why don't we go ahead and reveal one of your truths?
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. I actually have performed a lead role in an opera.
Okay, I did not expect that. So,
she's an extremely talented singer.
No, that's not what this is about. My father is a tenor and a conductor, and ever since I was little, he started opera companies, and he's had really successful opera companies everywhere we've lived. And one of his favorite operas that he really liked to do every Christmas season is Amal and the Night Visitors.
Yes.
So for a couple years in a row, I was Amal.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Did singing remain part of your life at all after?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I feel like it's a huge part of how I play my instrument was having, I do feel like it's a gift. I mean, I don't know if my dad is watching or not, but I know that I was probably very resistant to all the voice lessons with my parents when I was a teenager, but I do think it really helps me be able to sing through my instrument.
Yes. Well, let's see. One person voted A, so they thought that A was the lie. And if you guys want to change your vote, you can. That's allowed. So let's hear your final truth, Marilyn.
My final truth was that I was, in fact, engaged 3 times.
Okay, third time's the charm.
A third time's a charm, yes.
Very good. It's worth the wait.
But no, I don't own 50 pairs of shoes. Last time I counted, it was in the late 20s, and I've only acquired a couple more since then, and probably grown out of some after I had my last kid. So.
Well, I mean, I think my sister must own somewhere around 50 pairs of shoes. I should ask her. I didn't own 50 of anything. So you guys have been kind enough to offer a live performance for us. So would you guys mind introducing that piece, and then we'll get to hear you play?
Sure. We're gonna play a duet. It's a song. It's a choro, chorinho, by Pixinguinha. It's a very famous love song that I actually grew up hearing my dad serenade my mom with this song. He loves singing the song, and it's called Carinhoso, or Choro Canção, and it's arranged by Werner Thomas Mifun for 2 cellos.
Awesome, thank you. Take it away.
I'll give you some more space.
Sure.
put your hands together, everybody, for Marilyn and Trevor. Emoji style. That's how we applaud these days. You guys, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
All of a sudden, right now, actually, your volume seems a little low. Can you?
Oh.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Okay.
It's gonna
Fix it.
fix itself.
Awesome.
Awesome. That was beautiful.
And great
Great
arrangement
arrangement
too.
too.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Can I tell you really quickly a story about that piece?
Please.
Or do we have time or no?
Oh yes.
Because like when Trevor and I were about to get married, I was in San Antonio and he was here, and we were planning our wedding, which was in Rio in Brazil, and it was crazy. And we were trying to figure out what to do for a wedding favor. And then we went into a
Sheet
sheet
music
music
store, which don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
Okay,
sheet
so-
music store, and for something else, and we ran it across this arrangement, and it was kind of like one of these like, I don't know, serendipitous. It was just like a perfect thing. We needed this sign to be like, okay, this wedding is meant to be. It's all gonna be okay. We found this like love song that my dad used to sing to my mom, and this was actually our wedding favor. We like recorded little CDs and like put them on a table, and that was our wedding favor.
That is
So sweet.
And it's crazy. Two cello arrangement just waiting for you on a shelf somewhere. Very cool. And it's a beautiful song that I also happen to love very much. So both of you teach, yes?
Yeah.
Mhm.
How much teaching do you guys do? Does one of you teach more than the other? Or is it about the same?
It really depends on the year, and just depends on how many students we have. Right now, I have a few more than Marilyn, but in the past she's had more. It just happens that now's the time that I have a few more.
It's kind of like a juggling act, because we're balancing like orchestra and then chamber music stuff that we do, and then family life, and then obviously and then the teaching. So we felt like, especially after Kaya came along, one of us needed to kind of pare it down. And because I had a couple of students that were graduating anyways, we were like, seemed natural. So I've been on the lower side, and I've gotten to hang out with the kids a little more.
And do you guys find that you gravitate more towards like an age range or level? Like, does one of you teach more advanced kids?
No, we'll teach whoever.
Yeah.
From beginners to intermediate, to advanced, to adult. Cello is such a wonderful instrument, and everybody comes at it at their own level, and we're happy to help however we can.
And do you guys find that you have similar approaches to teaching, or? Okay, that's a very solid no. So let's hear about that.
This is something really important, and I talk to students a lot, like especially when we get trial lessons. We encourage people to do lessons with both of us and with all the great teachers, the cello teachers that there are around Portland, because it's really important to find somebody that really matches your style, like somebody that you have chemistry with, that you feel like.
Hey,
I think like. Should I talk about my own approach, or I guess sometimes I tend to be a little serious, on the serious maybe, and I've heard, especially like from adult students, that I can be a little intense sometimes. But and I think maybe Trevor's a little more chill sometimes in his approach. I mean, again, like he said, we have students of all different levels, and different approaches get often, the same results. So that's why it's really important to find a teacher that you work well with.
And how about like your technique and the way you actually teach the physical aspect of the instrument? Do you guys come from similar sort of technical backgrounds?
That we do. That we're both really.
We're both really structured in the way we approach the instrument. In the way we want the students to learn the geography of the cello. We have the same, not the same background, but at least now that we've lived together for so long, we've sort of grown together in how we approach it in that sense, because we're able to hash out problems between the two of us and really refine what works and what doesn't over the course of the years. And that's actually been a lot of fun, and that's one of the great things about living with another cellist is that we now I live with someone who I can nerd out with on scales and pauper etudes and you know, we wake up in practice early in the morning before the kids get up, and sometimes I'll bang on her door. I'm like, I don't know how to do this part, you know, or
I'll be like, I'm sorry.
what fingering you're doing there? So we can kind of cheat off of each other.
Yeah, that's true for orchestra stuff.
For orchestra stuff, I hear her practicing a hard part, and usually I'll wait for a while until she practices it so much that I get it in my ear that I'm done, I'm sad. So, you know.
And do you ever practice together, orchestra rep?
Rarely, but on the, like, sometimes, like, if it's, you know, one of those weeks where it's 11 p.m. and we haven't looked at our part enough and we're exhausted, and the only way that we're gonna, you know, try to make this fun and creative and stay awake is to play together. That has happened occasionally. Or
with some new music works where there's divided cellos and I may be on the bottom, or we have different parts. It's really helpful to sort of play it through and fit the rhythms together. Then you go into work and you've already done it a few times.
Is Isla still playing?
Yeah, she does.
And who does it?
She studies with Valdine.
Oh, I was about to ask who if either of you. Okay, so does she enjoy it?
Yeah, she does. She really enjoys it.
And you were just shaking your head. Is that about teaching?
No way we could teach her.
No.
There's no way she would let us be her teachers.
Yeah, how come?
She's really strong-willed. And so, like, having us, even with the homeschooling, you know, it's been a transition. She's very independent, and she wants to do things the way she wants to do it. So even, like, we've already come into situations where I'll be practicing with her, and, you know, she'll be like, Mom, you don't know it. I know what I'm doing. I'm like, okay. I mean, I just happen to be a professional cellist, but okay, you got this, kiddo.
And is she taking online lessons with Valdine? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And does she help around with Kyle? Is she a loving big sister?
She's really great, and sometimes we need an extra 15 minutes to do something around the house or practice, and we'll just tell Isla to go upstairs, get in the crib, take all the toys, and just play, and she'll do it. And it gives us some time, a little extra bonus time to fix that last passage before we gotta do something else. And
she's also a crazy, you know, 5.5-year-old, and she, like, when we were doing our sound check earlier with you, we're like, okay, Isla, just you guys play for a second, and that for some reason escalated into, like, they're throwing toys around, and then they're, like, hitting each other with pillows. So I mean, like, she's also very energetic.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that she's, I mean, still taking lessons from Valdine. And does Kyle show any musical inclinations?
Yes.
He loves the cello, of course, because that's all he sees. And we both play. We always have it with us. Isla always has it with her. She practices every day. The students come to the house. So to him, everybody that comes to the house plays the cello.
He probably think everybody in the world plays the cello.
Yeah.
So he has, we saved some of Isla's old little cellos, and so he's got a couple little ones that he likes to.
Although I think he might be a dancer. I don't know. He's like, he can't hear music without moving his body. Like, his body just starts going. Even when he's playing his little cello, he's like, you know.
Cool. That's so sweet. Okay, before we start to run out of time, I would love to get to Trevor's statements, 2 truths and lies. So let me change the screen to that. and let's jump right into it. Let's hear statement A about Trevor.
Okay, statement A. Trevor was a trained EMT.
Okay, that's up on the screen. Let's hear statement B.
Trevor used to have long orange hair.
Okay, and statement C.
Trevor climbed Mount Hood and Mount St. Helens.
Okay, there you have it, folks. Your job is to vote for the lie. Two of these are true, one of them is a lie. So let us know in the comments which of these you believe is a lie about Trevor. And did you guys come up with these statements for each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay.
It was a fun experiment, actually. We had a good time. We had a laundry list of.
Yeah, actually, we came up with a long list for each. It was kind of fun.
These are fun, and these are good. Your statements are good. I think they strike the right balance of specificity and possibility to
Have you done it about yourself, Raul? I feel like you need to start. Somebody needs to interview you on your show.
No, actually, I have not thought of my truths and lies. But I was a guest on Sarah Tiedemann's podcast for Third Angle, and she asked me to give her a say what story.
Oh, nice.
And it took me a moment to think of one, but then I gave her I think a good one that maybe I'll share in a future episode of this show as well.
We're all gonna go home and watch that, right? I mean, go home. We're all gonna leave this hour and go watch that now, so we can hear your sweat.
It's not out yet. I know when it's coming out, but
Oh.
but it's a good one. And you have one of those, don't you?
Yeah.
Marilyn.
Yeah.
Let's hear that now while we wait for people to vote in Trevor's statements.
It's not necessarily a super exciting it is, this show is intended for teenagers and all, but my say what, I guess, is when I was coming up with all these truths and lie, one of them was something that was like really shocking in my life and that really changed my life a lot was I was told on several occasions, but one time publicly, like in a master's class situation, that I would never amount to any kind of a cellist, to any kind of a musician, actually. And that was kind of a pivotal moment in my life that now I look back to, I'm like,
Is that something that, did that have a strong impact on you at the time?
Yeah, for sure.
How did you deal with that?
For me, in the moment, I dealt with it like, I'm just gonna take a deep breath and prove this person wrong right now as much as I can. But I think actually in the long run, it did kind of leave a lot of insecurities that I kind of had to get over one step at a time, year by year. Yeah, but I think that's like one thing about me, I think that is a strength is that I'm a lot like my daughter. I'm very stubborn and resilient, and it takes a lot to knock me down. So especially with the things that I'm really passionate about. So I think it kind of made, in that moment, I remember feeling like I'm going to prove this person wrong.
Well, I think you did. Clearly. And that's an important story to share, I think, because I think in the world of music, performance, and for young musicians who are playing auditions, for orchestras or for programs, I mean, rejection is part of the game, right?
It's not just part of it, it's most of it, unfortunately, because when it comes to auditions or placement or whatever you're doing, sometimes there's only one job or there's only one spot that you want, and there's 100 people wanting that, and you're gonna fail and you're gonna not win, and it sucks. And we go to our lessons and we're constantly hit with, I wouldn't say criticism, but constructive criticism. So it's hard to take. It's this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you're doing wrong. This is why you didn't win, or I'm sorry you're not good enough, or that type of thing. But fortunately, we're surrounded by teachers and conductors and mentors that tell us, look, that's the business, and it can be fun, and it can be you learn from those things and you grow, and that's why music is so so interesting. It's such a fun life because there is that growth, because there's a constant growth. Now there are struggles, but I think there's a good balancing act there. So
Yeah, and I agree with that. And on top of that, it builds character precisely because of what you're saying. You're constantly receiving feedback and criticism, and you learn to. It's like you learn to learn and to grow.
And it's not just in music; it's in anything in life.
It applies to everything else.
You're gonna face rejection, and sometimes more so in other areas of life. You may face rejection 1,000 times, and then make your mark, or then get your job, or then. I love these stories of these famous people that have been rejected 400 times, and then the 400, like, how do they, if I took 400 auditions, how would I feel? I would, but it's persistence, it's dedication, it's all that stuff. And we learn that through music, through auditions, through practice, through taking lessons. So it's in.
Very true. And speaking of rejection, people have voted to reject one of 3 statements that were provided to us
Nice transition there, Raul.
about Trevor. So there's a trend on the voting here that I'm not gonna tell you, but Trevor, let's go ahead and reveal one of your truths.
Okay. It is true that I was a trained EMT.
Okay. So was meaning you're no longer, like, you have to get recertified or something?
I've let all my certifications lapse. There was a period after, in my mid-20s, maybe later 20s, that I decided to take a step back away from cello.
Oh, okay.
And learn a new skill, and so I wanted to be a fireman paramedic. So I did all the schooling, and got some jobs. I got a job with the fire department, and was going to be a firefighter paramedic, and it was a great experience. And it just happened at the end of that, there was a door closed, and I took that as a sign that would take me back to the cello. But what it did was it just took me out of music for a little bit, but it brought me back stronger. I had been doing music since I was 5 years old. Every day, orchestras, chamber music. I mean, it was such a big part of my life. I felt like I needed something else for a little bit and see where that took me. And the great thing is that it took me back to finding a love for my cello and my instrument and music, even more than I was before. So.
And when you first started that journey, did you imagine at any point that there was a chance that you might not go back to playing cello?
Yep. Yeah, well, I was in it. I put my all into it. I studied hard. I took all the classes I needed to take. I was on a leave of absence from the Symphony when Marilyn was still down in San Antonio. So and we didn't have kids. So I had the freedoms. I taught a little cello. I played in the Symphony a little bit, but I did that.
And what's the training like? Is it months worth of classes or years, or how does that work?
It's months of classes, and trying to get hired by a fire department is a longer process.
It's like an audition.
It's
but
interviews. It's
physical tests.
Physical tests. It's all the running around with hoses and up and down stairs, and it was a lot of fun. And I had a great time working in the ambulance and seeing. I had a strong desire to serve others and to help where I can. So I thought that was the perfect fit for me.
Well, I think it's cool to know that you can take a detour like that at really any point of your life, and you know, coming out of that detour, you might be back where you began, but you've learned, you've grown, and
Yeah,
you know, going back to doing what you were doing before, but with a richer perspective, perhaps.
different perspective.
Yeah.
But sure.
Cool. Okay, so that statement A is true, and we have two more, and nobody voted for A, so people did believe that you were a trainee MT. So what's your final truth, Trevor?
That I used to have long orange hair.
And
Believe it or not.
what's that?
It's not there anymore, but
I've seen pictures.
Okay, and I have to say that you guys fooled most people voting because they thought that B was a lie.
Nope. Trevor was a skater in his teenage years.
All
He was like
right.
a boy with the long dyed locks.
and played in youth orchestra.
Very nice. We're gonna have to see pictures of that. I'm gonna change this on the screen. So C is allowed. Do you do any climbing or hiking?
I did climb Mount St. Helens once, and then I couldn't move for a couple of weeks, so I prefer the neighborhood walks.
Well, you know, let's. That is a good transition to our "What are you into?" segment. Is that one of the things that you're really into, like hiking, being outside? What-
Yeah, we love going hiking as a family. Marilyn and I are both runners. We like to take. We find that the daily run kind of helps us clear our minds, or come up with. It helps us process whatever's going on. So at least that's what a lot of that right now.
Yeah.
How about you, Marilyn?
Yeah, me too. I love physical exercise. Like I feel like it's important for mental health. But there's something really great about, being out in nature, whether it's pouring rain or it's beautiful sunny day. It's something makes you feel strong. It makes you feel also just breathing fresh air and being outside and pushing your body a little bit. It feels good. But yeah, and it's also we like to do races too, not competitively per se, but just because like we like the team experience. There's a lot of people in the symphony that run. So like most of the Portland races have at least one Oregon Symphony team.
And do you guys do the is it Hood to Coast?
Yeah.
Every-
Last year was my first time, and Trevor's done it twice
Is that a summer thing? When does that happen?
in August.
Is it canceled this year? Probably.
No, so far they're still going ahead with it, and we have a couple of symphony teams actually, a few.
Cool. Well, crossing fingers that it doesn't get canceled. And do you guys have a jogger, like a stroller, like you?
But we don't have a double stroller because like our kids are, Isla was 4.5 when Kai was born, and we feel like we're kind of waiting until she's almost. I feel like pretty soon she can be running with us at least for a mile, maybe a little further. Like pushing her in a stroller at this point doesn't really make sense. But we take Caillou a lot, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's such a great thing to be into. I mean, it keeps you healthy, and also, like you were saying, travel is good for just mental health and just to, as a way of. It's like a bit of a sanctuary, except you're out and you're moving around.
Right?
Do you run two-row?
My sport of my favorite thing to do is to play tennis.
Nice.
And I played quite a bit when I was in Louisiana and New Orleans. I had a couple of friends that I played tennis with, and then when I moved here, I just didn't have a tennis buddy. But I found out a couple of weeks ago on this show that Adam Eccleston loves to play tennis. So as soon as this whole pandemic thing is behind us, I know that I'm going to be playing tennis with Adam, and I'm looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I do run. I try to do it 2 or 3 times a week. Some weeks it doesn't happen,
Pushing Alma? Do you push Alma or no?
No, we don't have a jogger, but I do want to get one. I think now she's, that she's 13, 14 months old. Like it'll be okay. She was too little before, so that might give me an additional incentive to do it because then it's something that I'm doing with her. Uh, I'm not a fast runner. I mean, and it's kind of painful, but I do it. I do enjoy being outside and try to go for 20 minutes or 2 miles or whatever when it's nice out. Um, cool. Okay, so there's a couple more segments that I would love to do with you guys. One of them is our sound advice segment. And my prompt to you, my question to you guys is if you could go back in time and visit, say, 15-year-old Marilyn or 13-year-old Trevor, and you could give them a piece of advice, what would that be?
Gosh. I would tell 13-year-old Trevor to not be lazy. It's funny, like when you're in it, when you're 13 or when you're 15, it's hard to think sort of longer, bigger picture, right? And I would tell him, look, be efficient with your time, get your practice done, do it well, and then go have your fun. Because it is important to be a kid. It is important to go out, make friends, make as many friends as possible, be social, have fun, but also get your work done. because it does add up. The earlier you do it, the less you have to do later in life. So I think those are the things, for the most part, have fun, but do these things as well. Go out, go play in youth orchestra, try new things, and if you fail at it, fine, move on and try something else. But just keep moving, keep trying something new. Play a recital, even if you know you're gonna fall on your face or something like that, because you all build from that. And I don't think I did enough of that, and I tended to shy away from wanting to try new things or get out there and meet new people and be social, because we live in this world together, and it's something learned. It's easy for us to be a little bit more recluse, but it's so fun to get out and meet new people and talk to people. Marilyn's taught me all about this. And it's anyway. I would tell myself that just go do stuff and have fun, and don't take life too seriously.
How about you, Marilyn?
I think I would tell myself, and I probably still do tell myself this, focus less on how you compare and more on what you have to offer. I think especially as a kid, I've always admired so much other people's gifts. Like, oh my gosh, look at this person's left hand. It's so versatile. Or, look at this principal or that principal. And we're looking at people who are in the chairs in front of us. And, we're looking at people online who are doing all these amazing things. And, we're listening to all these recordings. I think it's great to be inspired and to have goals and to make yourself grow, like Trevor was talking about, to make sure you're always growing. But I would say I tended to be too much like appreciating what everybody else had and only seeing what I didn't have. So I would say to my 15-year-old self, focus less on how you compare and more on what you have to offer. Because we've, like any of the kids, everybody, as a human being, you've been given so many gifts, so many talents, so many opportunities, some more than others, but everybody's been given all of those things, and it's up to us what you want to do with it. And you can focus on what you have or on what you don't. So I would say focus more on what you have.
And it's so cool to me as a new parent now to hear you guys say these things, because this is advice that not only you would give to yourselves when you were kids, but now you will give to your own kids.
Yes, absolutely. We already do.
Do you guys? So I'll share this with you that with Alma now, and you know, I've gained such a much better appreciation for everything my parents did for me and my sister when we were little.
Right? I love you, mãe, paizinho. Amo muito vocês. Muito obrigada.
It's a lot of work,
It's so much work.
but
And there's no textbook about it. I mean, there are tons of books written about it, but there's no right or wrong way. I mean, like, you just don't know what you're doing the entire time. So you're constantly like, again, it's a learning curve. It's a big learning curve.
I mean, it's like learning to play the cello by reading a book. You want, right? I mean, you can learn from people, but you have to do it to learn it. But at the same time, it's so cool. It's just fun.
It's amazing.
Okay, and now let's look into the future here for a moment with the Oregon Symphony. We all look forward to going back to the stage next season. What is a performance with the Oregon Symphony, recent or for however long you've been here? Like, if I were to ask you, what's a really memorable performance that you've experienced with the Oregon Symphony? What comes to mind first for each one of you?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. I think when we started doing like our sound side series and started adding visual elements to our orchestra concerts, you know, when we did Gabe Kahane's piece, what was it called?
Emergency and
Shelter Intake Form. That one was amazing, from the first rehearsal to the last performance, and then to the recordings. Like, that just felt like this is what music is about, and this is what it's supposed to do. But then, like, when we did Bluebeard's Castle with the Chihuly, like with the Chihuly stage behind us, that was unbelievable. But honestly, I also remember the first year we started doing Beethoven 9 for New Year's Eve I was pregnant with Isla, and I just remember feeling like, oh, this is so magical that my babies get to experience this in the womb, like Beethoven 9, you know. I don't know. I can't nail it down because I'm not just trying to make this up or sound cheeky, but I really feel like there's so many amazing performances with my colleagues in the Oregon Symphony.
Yeah, and I can't pinpoint one either, but it's once or twice a year that there's some concert or performance that just feels so epic that we're super excited.
Shostakovich, we went to Shostakovich.
Sure, it's usually around like Mahler time when we play Mahler 6 or 7 or 8. And next year we're going to play 9. When I saw it on the program for next year, I mean, like, just I get so excited to play those pieces, those works there. And you know, when you're in it and there's 100 and some people on stage, and you know how Mahler just like builds to this climax, you can literally watch the hairs on your arm just start to stand up because it's so incredible. And those are the moments that I really look forward to. Mahler 9 next year, Mahler 2 a couple years ago, Mahler 6 this year. I think we did it this year. There's an excitement on stage, and when you get that many people excited to play one thing, doesn't matter what it is. Like when we did, you know, John Adams was a big one. I can't remember. I wasn't super excited about, but when you're there on stage with all these people you get excited in it, and then you practice and you really work and you work out the fine details, and the guy next to you is working out, and that's incredible, and that feeling doesn't go away.
Isn't that? It's so cool. It's just so cool, and it's so fun. We're so lucky that we get to do this.
We are very lucky.
Do you guys have, as we get ready to wrap up, do you have anything you want to plug or bring attention to for folks to check out online?
Um, yeah, so we've been experimenting with some of our colleagues in the Symphony and in this chamber music organization that I'm a part of, 45th Parallel. We've been experimenting with an online platform that allows us to play at the same time from our homes. Tomorrow we're going to try it out. We're going to be playing Terry Riley's In C at 6 o'clock. So yeah, go to 45thparallelpdx.org and you can click on a link that'll take you to that performance tomorrow at 6. And if things go well, it might become like a weekly chamber music gathering. So, and then hopefully we can all jam on that platform soon, Raul.
Yes, and Ron Blessinger sent a video that we played at the beginning of this show, inviting MYS students to tune in tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is, after we say goodbye, I'm going to play that video again for our viewers. This is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Go to 45th Parallel's website. I'm sure the Facebook page will also show the link. I am so excited about this because I think this is pretty groundbreaking.
I think so too.
So I'm definitely going to be watching.
Guinea pigs. We've been the guinea pigs.
And I look forward to seeing, where this goes. This is a pretty big deal for anybody who's trying to play music right now. So I'm so excited that it's happening here in Portland, and then all of you guys are making it happening. So thank you guys, both of you.
So nice to see you, Raul.
Thanks for having us.
us.
And thank you for taking time, because it's, we're home, but you're not. You don't have a lack of things that you need to be doing. I know you're busy and you have your 2 kids and everything. So we're very thankful that you spend time with us and with all of the MYS students watching and their families. And I will play Ron's video. And Marilyn, Trevor, I hope to see you guys and Isla and Kyle in person very soon.
Yes, yes.
So,
stay well, Raul.
Take care. Thank you again. And actually, before I play Ron Blessinger's video, I just want to invite all of you. Tomorrow at 4 p.m., Suzanne Nance, President and CEO of All Classical Portland, will be on the show. The next week, Tuesday, May 12th, Dominic Soudis, the principal bass player of the Concertgebouw Orchestra, will be on the show. And Robin Bollinger from A Far Cry, for the self-conducted orchestra in Boston, will be our guest. Thank you all for watching. Thank you again to Marilyn and Trevor for spending time with us. Now check out this video featuring Ron Blessinger about the event tomorrow, and I will see you tomorrow at 4 with Suzanne Nance. Take care, everybody.
Hey, MYS players, this is Ron Blessinger from 45th Parallel Universe, and I'm also a violinist of the Oregon Symphony, and I'm here to tell you that this Friday at 6 o'clock, my group is doing a really cool experiment with online technology. Hey, MYS players, this is Ron Blessinger from 45th Parallel Universe, and I'm also a violinist of the Oregon Symphony, and I'm here to tell you that this Friday at 6 o'clock, my group is doing a really cool experiment with online technology. That's this Friday, 6 p.m. We're going to be live streaming on Facebook and YouTube a really cool performance of our group. We're calling ourselves the Portland Social Distance Ensemble. We're going to be playing In C by Terry Riley, and it's going to be live. And the thing that makes this cool is that we're all playing from our homes remotely. So that's requires some really innovative technology, and should be a really fun time. So hope you join us. Bye.